frequency was coming up because it was being intermingled with our frequency, because we had to interplay. We had to mingle and be among these people. This is very important to understand, especially when you're looking at kosher. Because there are things that you cannot do. There are behaviors you cannot participate if you are dealing in these high dimensions, and it was very important for this time on earth that this group, this Hebrew group, the offspring of those that came out of primarily the Goshen Valley of Egypt, and went into what the story is calling the wilderness. Basically they headed east and southeast into that area. Their behaviors were constricted because the frequency had to be raised on all four components of them. That's what the laws were about. There are 631 laws that Moses implemented, and by the time that the person you call the Christ came to this planet, those laws were the laws of Moses. But we are not talking about the time of the Christ. That is a different time. We are talking about a time earlier in this timeline than the time of Christ. But Christ came into this system. That's why we are explaining this system, and because this system is not understood, we are placing more understanding to those of you who will listen to this so that it can be understood. Now, when we were training the military men, you need to understand, they were being trained so that we could all do battle together as one thing. All do battle together as one thing. They had to implement their free will, but they had to also go through our training to raise their frequencies so that we could accomplish this goal. We cannot interject ourselves into beings whose frequencies are low. It will not happen. It will not work. And especially when doing something like battle, where your life is on the line. You must be living in the high frequencies if we are going to interject with you and fight with you. You must be at high level, or we cannot hold as one with you. It will not happen. You are a physical being. We are not physical beings. You must come up to a different frequency. That's what this is about. The whole camp was part of them. All of the 12 tribes were part of them. That's why the whole tribe had to come up. And that's why the curtailing of the behaviors of every single person in the tribe was put on strict behavior models. And we did ask Moses to kill some of them that would not go along. It was for the good of the whole earth. It was for the good of you people in the 21st century are still benefiting from what we did. The people that you are going to have as offspring are still going to benefit from what we did. And for some reason, the people that like to take possession and meddle with your minds have brainwashed you to believe that Yahweh is some evil, cruel, wicked thing because this had to happen, therefore that points to his wickedness. No, you simply do not understand. Please, we want to put this perspective out into this planet, so perhaps a different understanding will come about. But that will be up to you as a human. We are telling you this from a perspective of an interdimensional, you see. And in those times, we were, you could say, walking or intermingling around the whole camp, bringing the frequency up higher, 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 because the dimensions were merged. And because it was our task to bring the dimensions up from that time forward. So the land where the DNA strains of the beings that did not belong in the purpose and plan of Earth as it is now had to be wiped out. And the other people that were mingling with those beings had to be wiped out. And the possessions and all of those things had to be done away with. You will find it very hard to understand this. But if you think about it, maybe it will begin to make sense to you. Yes? That's why the strictness of all of those things. If you ingest certain things, everything you ingest into your body will affect you. Everything. Everything you ingest into your body will affect you. And when it affects you, it affects your frequency. Yes? The behavior of certain things you do, all of you humans, even today, will affect your frequency. But in this time you live in the 21st century, there is no land that has to be overthrown by entities from dimensional spaces that are doing very, very, very heinous things on this planet. They have already been disposed of. They will not be coming back. This planet belongs to the humans as much as the humans belong to this planet. That is a hard concept for you because the knowledge of this has been robbed from you, but this is the truth. Constantly repeat that to yourself. Maybe it will help your understanding. Yes, maybe so. We hope so, because that was a special time and a thing that happened. That thing that happened was a very special thing that happened, and there's lots of misunderstandings about it. So many centuries later, lots of misunderstandings indeed. So hopefully this will help clear some of it up and make it more clear, so the misgivings will not be interfering with what the humans should do for themselves by implementing their free will today in this time in the 21st century. Just as we helped back then, we will help again, not us specifically, but some of us will help again. But the free will has to be implemented. If you do not want to implement the free will, we are not going to come and just wave our hands and do things for you. This is against the rules. This is outlaw. This is against the law, as you would say. It is against the law, as you think. But those people of that time, especially the soldiers, the military people of that time, made the sacrifices and did a great thing. And all of those tribes that went in there and took that land back from those beings did a great thing. We accomplished the mission, all of us working together, but we had to mingle in order to accomplish that mission. And we were walking around in the camps, and that's why those laws were so stringent, because if you were a human and you were participating in things that were going to mess up the frequency, you were hurting all of us. You were messing with us, the interdimensionals. You were messing with us, but you were also hurting the mission. And in hurting the mission, you were hurting yourself, and you were hurting future generations to come. Yahweh can see. Yahweh can see far. Yahweh can see. Yahweh understands. And that's why it went down this way. That is why. It may seem in this time, in this 21st century, that this is very strict and stringent, but the times in which you live, your minds have been tampered with, and your understandings have been tampered with. So you are not going to understand. You are not going to comprehend. Rather, comprehend is a much better word than understand. Yes, you are not going to comprehend what it was all about, and you're not going to comprehend. Some things are necessary so that you can help yourselves, because it is meant to be that this planet is tied to you and that you are tied to this planet. It is meant to be this way. The things that are going on today in the 21st century, eventually they will come to a halt. And again, you must return. You must understand. You must understand. You must return to a comprehension of this planet belongs to us as much as we belong to this planet. Because this planet is part of your design as much as you are part of this planet's design. You humans. So, hopefully that makes better sense of all of the things, of these questions we hear from time to time. Since you are putting yourself in our shoes, we are coming at you with this in this form, but we hear these things from time to time. They manage to make their way into our consciousness of ideas that Creator, life force, is some sort of tyrannical being. Nothing could be farther from the actual truth. It's just that the comprehension of the system of how Earth runs and how all of these galaxies run and how this whole universe runs and what principles it uses and how it works has been stolen. When it returns, you will see something different. You will comprehend something much different.